Yeah.
that you,
Yeah.
and we gotta have a copy of, some tax rates to sign.
If you approve the budget, I've got it here to sign. You want to look at them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I call the meeting to order. 5:31. Uh,
First thing's adopt the budget, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah,
This isn't what we approved to adopt.
no, this is not what we approved to adopt.
Fire agreement, that's what you approved.
We don't have a fire
We've been
agreement.
through this. I went through it all day with you on Thursday, Larry. We don't have a signed fire agreement yet.
To have a signed fire agreement.
So
Town signing it tomorrow.
this is the sheet that the township board approved to be put on there. It's our
Yes,
call.
it
It's
is.
the board's call.
It's the board's
And
call.
you put this on there this way in case they don't sign it, so we have something to go by. If they do sign it, there's a way to move this stuff all into contract services and you can pay the bill. We went through it on Thursday. You text me all day, back and forth. And I finally called George, and here's what he says. He printed it out of the manual for the township board.
Make sure this gets in the minutes.
Form 1, overview. This form is used to collect information on how your unit appropriates its spending for the year. The process begins with fiscal officer estimating their desired spending for the next year. Next, they enter the amounts in the desired budget line items in the advertised column. Any previously used line items roll over from the previous year, and the official can simply enter the appropriation estimated amounts for the budget year. New line items can be added, obsolete ones can be deleted, and the report can be customized to reflect the unit's spending. Ultimately, the adopted column should reflect the final decision of the fiscal board's approved budget. This is then used as a starting point of spending for the unit for each appropriation. The State Board of Accounts may use this as a guideline when auditing that budget year. And this is what we approved when we approved the budget the other night.
That's not what you signed, Tim.
We didn't sign
Yes,
anything.
you did. You signed it in Exhibit C.
No, I
No, we
didn't.
We didn't sign it.
You signed it.
We signed
We
it.
signed it with.
You're
with the
taking,
intent that this
you're
was going in
taking
it.
something out of
That's
a
what we
fire
signed.
agreement and putting in a budget agreement.
Because we went through this
Quiet.
at the
I
meeting.
get it. I get what you're saying. When I made that motion last week to sign the agreement, made the motion to update line, Exhibit C to match the town of Ossian, which I ended up doing that night, getting it fixed, sending it out to everybody. But we signed that agreement last week to match what Ossian's budget was. So we signed that agreement. It's the only thing you got right now is.
But the
Ossian-
town has not signed it, so
Well,
it is not an agreement until the town
Well,
signs
they're
it.
planning on signing it tomorrow.
Well, you can't go on a plan. I've been told that stuff before. This is in
Then-
place in case we got to go the other way, and it can be moved around to satisfy that,
And we could do the same thing with the one that was.
No, it
presented in the
isn't.
agreement.
Not.
if we don't have an agreement with them, what use do we have for hydrant
Well,
rental?
we can move that somewhere else, Tim.
This is what we approved. This is what I'm signing the budget for my standpoint. You guys do what you want.
Same here.
Well, at this point, a point in juncture, it doesn't really matter on Form 1 right now.
Yes, it does matter to me. Because if I gotta go the other way, I want this to work with.
Is there a way to check what motion you made last week, AJ?
I made the
You
motion.
made the motion.
But
I did with the Exhibit C to update, with the updated Exhibit C to match.
But-
The budget, not, you didn't say anything about Austin, I don't believe. Is there a way to go back and listen?
I would have to go back and listen to it, but when I mentioned it, it was to match Exhibit C.
It was
but
to my
match
understanding,
numbers,
it was to match this.
not to match that, not to match that.
Exhibit C
To
to
match-
match the adopted budget.
To
Of
match
Austin,
the-
to the
no.
fire department, to the agreement to the
I
fire
don't
department.
think that was the motion you made.
Then I misspoke, but what I meant to say, if it was saying something else, was to Exhibit C to match the fire operating budget of the fire department.
Our intent,
Not what that was.
our intent was for this, not for their budget. Me and
We're
Tim's
just,
intent was
it's
for
just,
this.
we're just at semantics. So what it comes down to is this form here, these numbers here match up.
They do match up.
Okay.
They do.
But we gotta okay how this is put into Gateway, and I'm saying, I'll make a motion, we okay with this inserted in and the other part taken out.
Tim, if you remember correctly, at our last meeting, or maybe it was the meeting before that, you showed me that budget of yours that's all highlighted. And you said, I can start a new fire department for $114,916. And those were the numbers that you gave me to start your new fire department. Those numbers had nothing to do with paying 50% of the town of Austin, the fire department's budget.
But we don't have a signed agreement.
Okay.
If we had a signed agreement,
Okay,
that might be a
No
possibility.
sense arguing anymore. I'm gonna schedule a continuous. meeting.
No, we are. No, we are not
We are not
scheduling anymore.
scheduling another
No,
meeting.
we're done.
No,
We're done. We went
done.
over this, Larry.
We went over it.
We
We
talked
went
to
over it.
George on it.
George told us what we could
I understand
do.
that, but you said.
And what did George tell us we could do? What George say? What George say? Will you explain to these people what George said? No, let him explain.
I don't.
What did George say?
About, he said things about a lot of.
So how about this? How about we do this?
What did George say, Larry?
How about, David, how about this? How about we approve it based on whether or not ASEAN signs the agreement tomorrow? We approve with, if they don't sign it tomorrow, we go with yours. If they do sign it, we go with this one here.
They have a meeting tomorrow.
Correct, at noon.
Is it a special meeting then?
They called a special meeting. So they have a meeting, they called a special meeting.
They're gonna adopt
At
their
noon.
budget and lower theirs, is what they're gonna do.
So they have a special meeting tomorrow at noon to sign the agreement.
So we'll have that signed agreement. If they sign it, we will know one way or another October 31st. And that's why I want to have a continuance meeting to October 31st.
Or we can just,
I'm not having
or,
a continuance.
guys, or
Not
we
having it.
approve
I'm not
it,
having it.
we
This
approve
is,
this.
this is the fifth meeting we've had. For 2 meetings, we should have adopted a budget. This is the fifth one.
Well, Tim, how about we just do the motion I just described?
I had a motion before that.
But let's make your motion then to adopt yours if the ASEAN doesn't sign it by tomorrow. If they don't sign it
No,
tomorrow.
I'm
then
not
we go to
changing
your-
my motion. My motion was adopt
I'll
this.
second it.
It can
I'll
work
second it.
either way, AJ. I tried to tell him that. It can work either way.
I'll second your motion.
There's no, we're not discussing.
Uh,
We're not discussing.
Okay, take a vote.
We're
All in
not
favor?
discussing.
Aye.
We're going to schedule a continuous meeting for October.
It's,
And
the,
we'll approve the budget. We'll approve the budget at that time.
The budget is approved with the exception of this form is gonna be inserted for fire and EMS. And we're gonna initial that for this form here.
That is not of what you guys signed. You guys are always on me about what's in the fire agreement. And you can see that this budget, exhibit C, is in the fire agreement.
You gotta sign it. Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
What, the budget that you guys are talking about right there, this is.
Yeah. Do you got a copy of it? You want to see it? You got,
No, I mean,
okay.
what number do you have for the
It-
fire budget for?
It's still gonna come out at 122,000, no matter which way we
It's
go.
114,916.
All this is,
But
I thought that's what you were gonna approve.
That's what
Yeah.
we're approving,
these
yeah.
are, this is just this
This is the
we
line
can add
items
this-
that are different than what he had,
Yes.
and this is
We
what we
can-
approved the other
This is
night.
what we approved the other night. We have different line
Some
items. That's the,
numbers wrong or something.
no, it's just a list that we want, is all it is.
So this
I'm
can't be an
spelling
addendum, you can't just sign and say this is an addendum to this.
That's what we're,
It's gonna replace,
it's gonna replace what he,
initial.
his original form that he stuck in there.
If you read this,
Initial.
Fire agreement, exhibit C's got hydrant rental on there.
Initial.
I know what you guys are going to say when I get a bill from the town of Austin clerk saying that we're gonna have to pay hydrant rental. You guys are not gonna pay me. You're gonna fight me for it. That's why I
It's
have
in-
to have this in exhibit C.
We're not gonna fight you on,
it's-
Larry.
it's
It's
just-
in the
it's
budget.
in
We
the
agreed to
budget.
cover the budget.
We
It's gonna
agreed to
be
cover the
Did not
budget.
agree to pay for fire hydrant rental because it's not on your list.
It's
You have got on me, I don't know how many times, I paid postage.
initial.
I paid postage a couple weeks ago, and
Sign
you
the
got on me
paper so we
because
can
it
get
wasn't in
this
the
over
fire
with.
agreement. I know
Because,
how
So,
you guys.
let it go,
operate.
let it go, sign the paper, Tim, and let's go.
Let's get this over with.
Let's,
I'm trying to figure out how to spell initial.
I'm still having,
INTIAL.
yeah,
Initial.
INTIAL.
IN.
we're still gonna have a continuance meeting October 31st.
No, we're not having a continuance meeting, Larry. We're signing it
David, I
right now.
cannot pay by your budget.
We're signing it right now.
I will not pay by your budget. Legally, I cannot do it.
Yes, you can.
No, I
Jim,
can't.
enough, just sign it.
It's got
Enough.
hydrant
You
rental
went
on
over-
there,
you-
and
you
will not
went over it
pay
enough.
hydrant rental.
We
We'll
went over it
worry
enough
about
with
this
them.
next year when we have to appropriate money like crazy.
Jim, I am not signing that. We cannot legally sign it. If you have to get my lawyer involved, we'll get my lawyer involved.
Is this your
Direct.
personal lawyer?
Yeah.
Or
Pardon?
Trustee lawyer?
Jefferson Township lawyer.
Okay. Need to initial that.
I'm passing this out to the residents that are here.
This is one initial.
So we need to sign
Sign the budget.
don't forget to initial that, or you did.
Yeah, I did. There you go, Larry. Sign it.
Here, hang on,
Nope,
we gotta include this with, the budget form.
Was that it? That's it, ain't it? We signed it, so we're good?
I want to talk to my lawyer first. Right now, I'm holding a meeting October 31st after a review from my lawyer. So I'd still like to have the October 31st meeting. Continue. Talked to the lawyer today, and he said if you signed Exhibit C, which is part of that, you are obligated to that contract. And so he has to.
I understand we're obligated to the contract, but you took a sheet out of that contract, put into our budget that we had already adopted. We adopted it the other night.
Yeah, just let it go. It's not, we're not arguing.
Talk to our attorney.
All right.
Don't forget to show him what George sent to you and I.
Send it to all of us, not just you guys. Okay, is that it, Larry? You got anything else?
No.
AJ, you got anything else?
I'll see you October 31st.
Maybe.
Anybody else got questions?
Is there gonna be another continuance?
No.
Yes, I scheduled a continuance for October 31st.
It's signed.
But the budget is signed,
The budget's signed.
so that's all we need. The budget's signed,
It's signed.
so there's no reason to have a
I'm having
continuance.
a meeting because I want a review of my
Uh,
attorney. If
are
my
you
attorney
ready?
agrees
Are
with
you-
you, if our attorney.
No
agrees
other
with you,
questions?
then
Nobody
it's
got
all
any
over.
other questions? You good?
But the public needs to know October 31st that what happens.
I say the meeting's over.
Mr. Hector, real quick. I apologize, I've been out of town. This is all very confusing right now. As it stands right now, the budget that you guys have signed, that the trustee is still waiting to hear back on, what is that going to set in place for next year?
Well, how long you been out of town?
A week.
So what it comes down to, that we've signed the agreement, and Town of Austin's got to sign an agreement, so come next year, we'll have fire protection. Town of Austin's planning on signing that agreement tomorrow. So, no matter what we budgeted, there's a fire agreement in place for next year, so we'll have fire protection. That's what you're after, correct?
The,
Yeah, it'll still,
There's more to it, I'm just asking for like a brief synopsis.
So, no matter what, we're gonna be short budget money. So budget is 114, but Aussie wants 122. But we have money from the previous years to carry over to cover that budget.
Yeah.
it'll be
Is that-
covered.
Okay.
The 122 will be covered.
I just wanted to hear it in
It will be
open forum
covered.
so that I wasn't hearing.
There's money,
third-hand stuff.
there will be money for the fire department
the-
next year.
Yeah, there will be. The 122 will be covered.
That's all
All it is just a list of
I got that.
how it goes, and we can move it around as we see fit.
Yeah, I got
when it
that
comes
part.
time.
I just heard things while I was out of town that I wasn't too keen on, but if you guys are saying this. and this is
There's-
true,
Yeah. it's
well,
true.
the town has to sign it,
The
yes.
town has,
Rob.
yeah, the town
The
has.
town
signed
is
it,
not
yeah.
signed.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about the town. What I had heard through second and third hands didn't make sense to me about the township. Town, I'll go to that meeting too, but I just wanted to hear you guys say out loud in a public forum.
Yeah.
So that it made more sense, because if I'm confused, I'm sure there's several others who are correct. So, I'm good.
Now that this has been settled, how often do you guys hold meetings? From here on out, how often are the meetings?
We don't have, technically, there's 4 times a year we're supposed to get together. There's a couple of them in the early year. But normally, unless
There's
something special
There's a
comes
couple
up,
other things I want to go over, so
we
don't
don't
close the
call
meeting.
meetings because we don't have to meet monthly like the town of Boston.
I've got some other stuff I'd like to talk about. One is, where we're at with the spending this year. AJ, I brought a copy for you. Okay, I wanted to compare it to what our budget is and what you spent, so you know where you're at. On the general, you spent 167,000, it says. And our budget's 88,485.
I explained on the back sheet what the difference was there.
Well, I went through there and I took off 79,391 that you invested in Trust Indiana. And I took off the $18,000 that you loaned the township assistance.
And paid back in June.
Yeah, so you spent 70,000, so you have $17,000 to spend, 17,916 to spend yet,
Okay.
okay?
But the first figure you read where I spent way over is incorrect. And these people think, right now, they're thinking I went way over.
That's
on my
what it
budget.
says on here.
But you gotta subtract those two figures.
I did, and that's what I told
I am
you.
not over budget, Tim.
I know you aren't.
Okay,
But-
people don't understand it. They think that I was overspending already this year, and I am not.
It's how
over
you
budget.
did your accountings all.
Well, it's
So-
still not overspending, he's just investing the money that we have. Sitting
Well-
Sitting there doing nothing,
I
so.
invested 210,000 of money that we didn't need, and we're drawing around 5% interest on it. Before, it was sitting there drawing nothing. I've made, I think, about $500 a month ever since the 1st of February on the money, we're just sitting there not doing anything. So it does show that it was an expenditure from the general fund, but it was money that was taken out to be invested.
Okay, township assistance. You spent so far $8,754, and you have, the budget is 25,800, so you got 17,000 left to spend in that.
Okay. That's deceiving also because I took $18,000 from the township assistance, and that shows as a disbursement
Right.
in there.
You had 26 minus 18 is 87,
Okay,
okay?
so I'm not above budget.
No, you've got 17,000 left to spend. I'm just. Okay. Fire and EMS. Budgeted 79,000. Taking off the hydrant rental, which,
28,000 away.
yeah. You spent 61,758. You've got $8,329 to spend. That's all you got left in fire.
We refunded the 28,000 for fire hydrants, and then you guys have paid me to spend 35,000 for that.
Right, and that's in here. It's in the 61. So you've all got $8,300 to spend yet.
Correct.
Now I got a question. You took some money out of rainy day fund.
He took the rainy day fund and invested it also. So that's where that money is at.
Okay,
So the rainy day
Now-
fund's in that same investment.
the printout we get from Trust Indiana says all that money is combined under Cume Fire. But it goes into these different accounts.
What do you mean different accounts?
The interest money goes into the different accounts, like the 110,000 you invested in Cume Fire, Trust Indiana, the interest on that comes back to the Cume Fire. That's a different batch of taxpayers than the general.
Did you ever worry about that when you was drawing less than 1% interest up here?
So
Answer me, I'm just asking.
So the only thing on that, Tim, when we need to put that money back, we just need to make sure that interest gets divided up correctly. That's all that is.
Correctly, right, but then it's kind of a accounting nightmare because it went in at different times.
Only went in 2 different times. The one in October was strictly general fund money. So there's not going to be any complications there. I can figure out the one that went in February.
How often do they pay us?
Monthly.
Well, how come we don't have anything in Cume Fire where you've entered that you paid it into Cume Fire, the interest in?
It should be in there. That's where, when I put the money back in the budget, that's where it goes. You probably have to look under Indiana. Well, it's not going to show on the bank statement.
No, on this
It
here,
won't show in there. It shows on the Indiana. I've got a separate account for Indiana Trust. And I send that information to you. That's where it shows up, is under Indiana Trust.
but don't they send you a check for that or what?
No,
do they
no,
do?
it just continues to roll over and gain more
It's
interest.
it's like any investment account, just keeps building up until
Okay.
you want to take that funds out. And to be clear, across Indiana, we can take the funds out at any point. It's not, you gotta wait 60 days. It's, if we wanted the money today, we could take that.
But we are gonna get, the money back, the interest money back in the respective accounts that you took it from.
Correct.
I can do that. Correct. This cumulative fire, that's for this fire tanker that we need to buy for Jefferson Township. The board in the past has not given us nearly enough money per year to buy a $400,000 fire truck tanker that we really should be buying in 2026. So any interest that we can accumulate in that cumulative fire fund is going to save us on how much money we have to borrow for this new fire truck.
What's this here you handed out anyhow?
Read it.
I don't read it now.
I think it pretty well explains to the residents what you're trying to pull here.
Are you done?
Is there anything else?
Yes, anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. I make a motion, we close the meeting.
Budget's adopted.
All in favor?
Not adopted
I
until
agree.
our attorney approves.
Aye.
Aye.
And I will have you that information by.
Wow.